This team is so stupid. This team is so stupid. Where was this against the Mets? Why couldn't you do this against the Mets? Come on. Come on. I had so much fun watching tonight's game. Destroying the Atlanta Braves, who suck, by the way. They are complete trash. Fucking, if the Phillies face Cal Quantrill every single game for the rest of the year, they win the World Series. Every single game, including the playoffs, they'd win the World Series if they're facing Cal Quantrill. Holy goddamn shit, that dude sucks. Holy goddamn shit, the Braves pitching sucks. And holy shit, Kyle Schwarber. I'm sorry I yelled at you. I'm sorry I yelled at you over the week against the New York Mets, which, granted, was very warranted because you completely no-showed against a huge series against a division rival. But, 4 homers? You respond to all the criticism with 4 homers in one game? Seriously, I thought he was going to get 5. He had a chance to get 5. He was so locked, his eyeballs fucking popped out of his sockets when that hanging curveball against the position player, granted, was over the mound. And I'm sure his eyes were like, I'm done on that pitch. And that guy got so under the pitch, it's not even funny. I was like, damn, he was so, he saw that pitch all the way. He knew where he just got under it. I was like, damn, I thought he was actually going to do it. What was it, like nobody in Major League history hit 5 home runs in a game before? Like, of course, Kyle Schwarber would be the guy to do that. But sadly, he got completely under the ball. But still, fucking historic night. Kyle Schwarber, 4 fucking home runs in a game. My God. My fucking God. Jesus Christ. It even escalates his MVP campaign at this rate. When we were all complaining about what they did against the Mets, which it's still very warranted at this point. I am not forgetting about what happened against the New York Mets. Yeah, you win a game, you could just completely destroy a team that you should be destroying in the Atlanta Braves. I didn't think you destroyed them this badly in the first game, but I'll take it. I'll completely take it. 19-4. After that top of the first inning by Arenado, though, allowing 3 runs, definitely wasn't the first. Definitely wasn't the best starting point there. Gonna be honest. Had us in the first half. Not gonna lie. Probably always should have been safe. Would have made it 4-0. Thankfully they didn't choose to challenge it or anything like that. And then the Phillies just exploded for 3 home runs in that bottom of the first inning to make it 5-3, and then just the home run parade the rest of the ball game. Bader was a home run away from the cycle. JT had a fucking blast of a home run that was fucking crushed to tie the game. Max Kepler got into the home run bunch. Same thing with Bryce Harper. And then freaking Kyle Schwarber, just home runs a dozen. Home runs a dozen. Home runs a dozen. I swear, I thought he was going to get 5. I think everybody in the Delaware Valley thought he was going to get... I think everybody in baseball thought he was going to get 5 tonight. That's how crazy he was at the plate tonight. Crazy. Absolutely crazy. Crazy stuff. And then you got the guys out of the bullpen, obviously, when the game is completely over and done with. Robert comes out. Who was the other guy that came out? Trevino came out of the game as well, just to shut things down. Yeah, this team does not make any sense. You get swept by the New York Mets, who are currently losing, by the way, to the Miami Marlins. I believe by a score of 7-4. They're going to the bottom of the 8th inning currently. So we'll see where that goes. So, what was it, 4 games ahead of the Mets after that series? It would be 4.5 tonight. If the Mets were to lose, it would go back to 5. So, we'll see where things head out from there. But, yeah, it was a fun game. I'm not going to deny it. When you fucking see a guy hit 4 home runs in a game, it's a fun game. I'm just going to enjoy this game in the moment. Still be very frustrated with the team overall because, yeah, that's the response you want to see after getting completely embarrassed against one of your division rivals this week. That's 100% the response I would like to see. It's just that, where was this in New York? Is New York just that much of a horror house for you that just anything goes wrong, anything that possible that can go wrong just goes wrong whenever you play up in Queens? I'm not saying beat the fucking Mets 19, even though I would love you to beat the Mets and just literally chokehold them in a game like this. to where they have to throw position players out there on the mound, and Kyle Schwarber's hitting nukes all over the place, and everybody's hitting nukes all over the place. I would love that against the Mets. I'm not saying that, I would love that, because I would have loved for you to do this type of game against the fucking New York Mets. Granted, it's not realistic, but I would have loved it. I would have loved it if it happened one of those games. But it didn't happen. He just didn't show up in that series. Granted, I do like this response, but still, my feelings aren't changed on this team. One game like this isn't going to sway me in a different direction. I'm just going to enjoy the game for what it is tonight and enjoy what Kyle Schwarber did tonight. It was great stuff. He's crushing the ball all over the place. So, yeah, you get a win in a 4-game series, in a series that you should beat this Braves team, because this Braves team is not good. They're not good at all. Their pitching is terrible. Their pitching is so injured back and forth, and it's just terrible in general. You should be spanking this Braves team. And thankfully, you started it with the first game. Now, here comes the classic, are the Phillies going to, is the offense going to go cold tomorrow because they scored so many runs today and they wasted so many runs today? Well, yeah, that Phillies team could definitely show up, but we'll just see. Who's on the mound tomorrow? I think Rangers on the mound tomorrow, if I'm not mistaken. I think that's the case. So, we'll see. I know they play Chris Sale on Saturday. That's like his first start back in a very long time, but it's Chris Sale, the Phillies. I'm not going to go that far. Not going to be that guy tonight. I'm not going to be that guy tonight. I'm not going to be a jerk-off, even though I'm probably going to be a jerk-off. I'm not going to go that far. I'm going to enjoy the night for what it was tonight, because tonight was very fun. Tonight was very electric with Kyle Schwarber and all the home runs. Just everybody was hitting all over the place. Granted, it was against, most of it was against Cal Quantrill, because that dude fucking sucks. And like I said, if the Phillies faced Cal Quantrill every single day for the rest of the season, and including the playoffs, they would win the World Series, because that's how bad Cal Quantrill is. But still, tonight was very fun. Tonight was very fun. Now we'll just see where they take us here. Granted, my feelings are still the same regardless after that Mets series, but I'm still like in the same mindset realistically. It's just that Mets series really gave me like a full picture. Like, my mindset realistically the past couple of weeks has been really that I would not be shocked if the Phillies won the World Series, but I also wouldn't be shocked if this team lost in the first round. Because, yes, there is some truth to getting hot in the playoffs, blah, 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 with the way baseball has been for the past couple of seasons. Yes, there's definitely some factoids to that. But I also watch this Phillies team and just see that they don't have that killer instinct, especially when you go into a big series against one of your division rivals in the New York Mets that you're basically trying to get a gigantic lead in the division for, basically shoot them out of the way of even getting that division and put them into a more tighter race with that wild card spot. You just go into your house of horrors and you completely just die for the most part in 2 of the games. Yeah, one of the games was close, but it was really just, you couldn't do anything else. Your top guys didn't show up. That's what happened. And that's another big factor of this team, is when they have a chance to put something away, they don't. They don't. And that's the biggest issue with this team. That's one of the biggest issues with this team. But like I said, I also wouldn't be shocked if they went on the deep run in the World Series, because they do have the capabilities of doing that. You see it on point in, like, that series against Seattle. You see it in the reason today with the potential offensively. It's absolutely insane. Now, like I said, granted, you are going up against Cal Quantrill, so it's probably not going to be this dramatic. But you'll understand what I mean. When you have your stars going off in games like this, it's like you see why some people want to be optimistic. You see that. It's just I can't fully just go all the way into that direction. I just can't. So I'm going to enjoy what this game was, because this game was very fun. Kyle Schwarber, historic night, 4 home runs. He had fucking 9 RBIs. That's even crazy to say. All the home runs and everything like that. I'm really not going to enjoy Aaron Nola, even though he did give you 6 innings in this game. Almost was a quality start until he allowed, the typical Aaron Nola home run in the 6th inning to Matt Olson that barely got over the wall. But it was a fun game. It was a fun game. I'm trying not to be a sourpuss, but it's just like sourpuss Amadeo comes in here, and it's just like, gotta step on the parade right here. Even though, just realistically, just enjoy the game. Even though I said a lot of things like very reactionary in that Mets series, even though some of it was true, like when I was like really talking about like with Schwarber and all that stuff, like, well, would I really even want to re-sign Kyle Schwarber with the way that he showed up? No, I'd still re-sign Kyle Schwarber. I still re-sign Kyle Schwarber. The dude's still unreal at the plate. Yeah, he was in a bad slump. It's just like he went into the worst slump possible at the worst possible time. And he can get hot at any moment. He can go off the rest of this month and into September and just go completely bonkers. He went from 45 home runs to 49 tonight. He's like, what? He's 9 home runs away from tying Ryan Howard's record for single season home runs in Phillies history. He's got a whole month to do that. And Kyle Schwarber is definitely capable of hitting at least 8 home runs the rest of them. Fucking hell, he did it. He hit 4 today. He hit 4 today. What did Kyle Schwarber do last year, like near the end of the season? He had like a few games where he hit like 3 home runs. Like that one game in Toronto where they had that huge comeback. He had that game in Los Angeles where he hit 3 home runs. So he has that ability in him. It's just that, like I said, he went cold at the worst possible time in that series against the Mets. Now, if that sparks hot Kyle Schwarber after tonight, I mean, I'll take it. I'll take anything I can fucking get. But it was fun. It was fun. It was fun. It was fun. Tonight was very fun. That's the most important thing. Tonight was very fun. Right now, updates still with the Marlins and the Mets. They're in the bottom of the 8th. It's still 7-4. Mets have a base runner on with 2 outs on first base. So we'll see where the rest of that game goes as we continue, because most likely that game will maybe be over by the time we progress further into this recap. So why not? Let's just go over the entire game. Aaron Nola had that very ugly first inning. 6 innings, 4 earned runs, 3 walks, 4 strikeouts, home run allowed, 95 pitches, 55 strikes. Then Robert pitched 2 innings, 2 hits, 1 strikeout. Then Trevino pitched the final inning of the game and basically just shut it down from there. Obviously, the game was completely over. I don't even know why I'm saying shutting it down. It's just force of habit at that point. Then you go to the game. So we go to that really ugly first inning by Aaron Nola. So Profar lead off with a single, Olsen with a walk. Acuna then got out, but then Baldwin singled to load the bases up with 1 out. Nola walks Albies with the bases loaded, brings home 1 run, then Harris with a single that scores 2 runs. Ozuna then strikes out, but then JT also tried to throw out the runner going to second base, but then Albies tried to come home. Throw from Stott looked to beat Albies. They did call him out, but then when you saw the replay going into the next inning, the next half inning, it looked like Albies was safe, realistically. But they didn't challenge it. So it's a 3-0 Braves lead. Go to the bottom of the first. Trey Turner with a flyout. Kyle Schwarber with a solo shot to put the Phillies on the board. Bryce Harper follows that up with a single and an 0-2 count. Then JT Realmuto on the first pitch he sees, crushes a home run to left field, hits the second deck. Ties the game up instantly. Marsh reaches it on a bunt single. Bohm with a fielder's choice. So you have man on first, 2 outs for Max Kepler. He hits a 2-run shot to give the Phillies a 5-3 lead. Crazy stuff. Aaron Nola responds with a 1-2-3 inning. Actually has a couple of 1-2-3 innings in a row. Then you go to the bottom of the third. Harper with a leadoff solo shot into the second deck. Phillies with a 6-3 lead. Another 1-2-3 inning for Nola in the top of the 4th. Then you go to the bottom of the 4th where the Phillies really break it open. Bader with a triple, which almost went out of the ballpark. It hit the top of the fence. Stott with an RBI single makes it 7-3. Turner with an RBI double that makes it 8-3. Then the Braves decide to finally go to the bullpen against Cox. Kyle Schwarber with a 2-run shot makes it 10-3. That's his second home run of the night. Aaron Nola with a 1-2-3 in the top of the 5th. Then you go to the bottom of the 5th. Bader with a single. Turner reaches in on an infield single as well. Then Kyle Schwarber, lefty, hits another home run. Basically one-handed it out of the ballpark the opposite way, makes it 15-3. Then Aaron Nola in the top of the 6th. Olsen hits that home run, becomes 15-4. Then the Phillies add more runs in that bottom of the 7th inning. Bader with a leadoff double. Sosa with a walk. Then Kyle Schwarber hits another 3-run shot to make it 18-4. Crazy stuff. Stott had an RBI single in the bottom of the 8th inning. Sosa actually had an RBI single, made it 19-4. Schwarber had the chance for the 5th home run. Sadly, he did pop up, but the game does end from there. Jesus Christ, there were so many runs scored. Marlins got out of that inning. It is still 7-4 Miami going into that top of the 9th inning, so we'll see if the Marlins close that one out. Looking at the lineup today, the Phillies had 20 hits. Trey Turner 2 for 4 with an RBI. Edmundo Sosa came into the game as, just to give Turner off his feet, I guess. He went 1 for 1 with an RBI as well and a walk. Kyle Schwarber, he went 4 for 6 with 9 RBIs with the 4 home runs. Holy fucking shit. Slugging percentage went up to 586 after that. Bryce Harper, he went 2 for 3 with his walk and solo shot. He scored 3 runs. Weston Wilson eventually came into the game as well. He went 0 for 2 in his appearances. JT Realmuto, he went 1 for 3 with his 2-run shot, also a walk. Marchand came into the game, went 1 for 1. Brandon Marsh went 2 for 5. Bohm went 1 for 5 with 2 RBI. Max Kepler 1 for 4 with a 2-run shot and a walk. Harrison Bader 4 for 5. He was a home run shy of the cycle. He scored 3 runs. And Bryson Stott went 1 for 5 with an RBI. Phillies went 6 for 13 with runners in scoring position. How many home runs did they hit in today's game? They hit 7 home runs in today's game, 4 of those from Kyle Schwarber, which is fucking hilarious. That is fucking hilarious. It is crazy here, boys. Crazy. Crazy, crazy, crazy stuff. It's insane. Kyle Quantrill allowed 9 earned runs. Cox allowed 7 earned runs. Cox was in at the game at that point to just take one for the team, 3 innings, 7 earned runs, and all that stuff. He has an 8+ ERA on the season after all that crap. Jesus Christ. Jesus Christ. Then if we look at tomorrow's game, tomorrow is on Apple TV. Good Jesus Christ. I don't want to watch Apple TV. Thank God they probably are getting rid of that next season. Ranger Suarez is on the mound going up against Bryce Elder. Bryce Elder, he is 5-9 with a 6.12 ERA. Has not been good. Even though he did win 6 innings, only allowed 2 earned runs against the Mets. But then against the White Sox, he went 4 2/3, allowed 8 earned runs. So in 2 starts against the Mets, he was very good, actually. 6 innings, 2 runs, 7 innings, 2 runs. But then mixed in there, White Sox, 4 2/3, 8 earned runs. Miami, 6 innings, 5 earned runs. So it's like he allows 2 earned runs and then a bunch of runs. 2 earned runs, then a bunch of runs. 2 earned runs, then a bunch of runs. It's crazy. It is crazy. Phillies also scored 9 earned runs off of him back in June in Atlanta. I remember that because that was the day of the first round of the NHL draft. I completely remember that during the Snow the Goalie live stream. So it's Ranger Suarez up against Elder. Then you'll have Christopher Sanchez going up against Chris Sale on Saturday. Then you'll have Sunday on ESPN, Jesus Luzardo against Hurston Waldrep, who is 4-0 with a .9 ERA. Holy hell. Holy hell, this guy has been very good, actually, since being called up, I guess. Yeah. So he's only allowed 3 earned runs all season. 5-2 in his first start, 5 2/3 against the Reds with 1 earned run. Against the Miami Marlins, 6 innings, 1 earned run. Against the Cleveland Guardians, 6 innings, no earned runs. Against the White Sox, 7 innings, no earned runs. And against Miami, 5 1/3, 1 earned run. So he's been very good since being called up. Been very good. Yeah. So that's that. That's the rest of that series. Then after this series, you play the Milwaukee Brewers to start September on Labor Day in Milwaukee at 4 o'clock. Then you have a weird off day in between on Tuesday. Then you play in Milwaukee the next 2 days. Walker, Nola, and Ranger Suarez are expected to be the pitchers for that series as well. So very interesting stuff. You're also going to be facing Jacob Mizorowski in that series, the first game against Taijuan Walker. Then Aaron Nola against Jose Quintana, who is 10-5 with a 3.69 ERA, but he dominates the Phillies for some reason. And then Ranger Suarez against Freddie Peralta, who is 15-5 with a 2.68 ERA. What have the Brewers been doing lately, honest to God, ever since their very hot stretch? So ever since their very long winning streak, they lost a series to the Cubs. Yeah, they played a 5-game series against the Cubs, went 2-3. Then they lost a series to the Giants, and then they split against the Arizona Diamondbacks. So it looks like they're starting to come back down there, which makes sense. Which would make a lot of sense. Then after Milwaukee, you play in Miami. Then you have that 4-game series at home against the New York Mets, and that's the final time you'll be playing them this season. But not to go too far, you still got 3 more games in this series here against Atlanta. And after this win, you'll go back up to 4.5 games above the Mets. And if the Mets were to lose their first game to Miami, it'll go to 5 games. So we'll just see where things go from here. Let's see. Every player to have a 4 home run game in the last 20 years. Kyle Schwarber, Nick Kurtz had it on July 25th, actually. There's actually been 4 or 3 4-home run games this year. Nick Kurtz had that for the Athletics in July. Back in April, Eugenio Suarez actually had a 4-home run game. JD Martinez back in 2017 in September. Scooter Gennett had back in 2017, and Josh Hamilton back in 2012. My God. My goodness. My goodness. Kyle Schwarber, here's from Jason Stark. Kyle Schwarber's wild box score line 6-4-4-9 with 4 home runs. 4 for 6, blah, 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 blah. Players in history with that stat line, Kyle Schwarber today. That's a wrap on that list. It's just him. What else? MLB, this is from MLB's Twitter. Kyle Schwarber is on pace for 59 home runs. The Phillies' single-season record is 58 by Ryan Howard. Interesting stuff. It's a crazy day. It's definitely a crazy day, as we also saw in the other parts of the sports world before today's game, with the whole Micah Parsons trade to the Green Bay Packers. That was crazy for a player and 2 first-round draft picks. And immediately Micah Parsons extends in Green Bay, what was it, like for 3 or 4 years or something like that, for a very large sum of money. So he's out in the NFC East. Dallas gets worse. And all going into the first game of the season next Thursday against Dallas. Interesting stuff. Interesting stuff. It's crazy, though. It's crazy. The Phillies do play on that Thursday, but they're not in Philadelphia. It's that final game against the Brewers, and they're playing at 4 o'clock, and I'm assuming the Eagles don't play until like 8 or something like that. So you'll probably be able to get Phillies and Eagles like back-to-back realistically. Yeah, Eagles don't play till 8:20. So most likely you would expect the Phillies to be wrapped up at least an hour before then. Who knows? Who knows? Anything else from tonight's game? Anything else? Anything else? Anything else? No. Rob Thompson says the radio stations are wanting fans to boo us. God. What else is there? I don't think there's much. Here's a funny stat from Bob Wankel. The Phillies had 2 total home runs and over 268 bats spanning their last 8 games at Citi Field. The Phillies had 3 homers in their first 6 at bats tonight. That is weird. That is weird. Let's see. No, I don't think there's much. I really don't think there's much. No, not much else from today's game today. It was just very fun. I guess we could just wait and see what happens with the Mets game. They're going to the bottom of the 9th right now. We could see how that game finishes up. Marlins are still up 7-4 going into that bottom of the 9th. Might as well bring up MLB.com so I can track that better than ESPN, at least. So the Marlins will be facing the 9-1-2 for the Mets. And we'll see how that goes. We'll see how that goes. Who will be coming in the pitch for the Marlins? I don't even know who their fucking closer is. Who was on the mound for the Mets today? Clay Holmes. Clay Holmes. He allowed 2 earned runs, 4 runs total, so I'm assuming there was a big error. Mets had 3 errors in tonight's game. Holy shit. Mets had 3 errors. And then Gregory Soto allowed 3 unearned runs as well, so I'm assuming there was also a big error involved in that as well. Alonso made an error, Nimmo had an error, and then Clay Holmes also had an error. Interesting. Interesting. Crazy stuff, boys. Crazy stuff. Marlins are bringing in Foucher to close out the game. Calvin Foucher. How many? He's got 12 saves this year. And we'll see what happens. Starting Marte is coming in the pinch hit for the Mets. So we'll see how the game... I can also probably put the game on freaking MLB TV on my television in the background. It'd probably be better than tracking the MLB.com thing, because sometimes MLB.com just takes fucking forever to update. Yeah, that probably is the game plan. That probably is the game plan. Bring up the MLB TV stream on the television. Then we'll, like I said, we'll probably just watch that, see how that game ends until, and then we'll wrap it up. Already a mound visit. I'm assuming it's because of the pinch hitter. Go on MLB.TV on the phone. And we'll see how it ends. My cat's in her bed again. I don't feel like moving the camera this time, though, because she is nice and asleep. So she is relaxing. It looks like they're having a pitch-com issue. Pitch-com issue. Big old pitch-com issue. Let's see what else is there. And we don't have any voicemails here. So, I think a lot of people are Phillies out right now, which makes sense. But yeah, we'll just react to the final of this Mets-Marlins game, however long it's going to take. And then basically everybody will be waiting for Brodes' recap, which he's probably going to be doing very soon. And it's hilarious. Of course, after tonight's game, I sell 2 tickets to the Braves game on Sunday. Phillies-Braves game. So that was funny. But that game sold. I think the only game I need to sell is tomorrow's game. Because I sold Saturdays. So I think I just sold Sundays. So I'm assuming tomorrow's got to sell. Starling Marte is up the first pitch he sees. He's got to fly out to center field. 1 pitch, 1 out. In the bottom of the 9th. So next will be Francisco Lindor and Juan Soto. Is Kyle Schwarber a future Hall of Famer? If he gets the 500 home runs, which most likely he will, at this point of his career, because most likely he's just going to be a DH for the rest of his career. That's not really going to affect anything. It'll probably keep him fresher at this point. If he gets 500 home runs, which I do think he will in the back part of his career, I think you'll probably give him a case. Because 500 home runs, it's 500 home runs, so you got to get that in consideration. It'll make people very pissed off, but it definitely should be up for consideration if it's 500 home runs. Still a big feat. What else? Can we just give Schwarber $1 billion at this point? Also, I didn't know you were allowed to hit that many home runs. Yeah, I didn't know that either, Mist. Did not know that either. Belt-to-ass banners and my birthday is on the 4th of July. Well, happy or very early birthday, Franco. Francisco Lindor is up. He is now in an 0-2 count after fouling that pitch off. So we'll see where it goes. We'll see where it goes. That foul ball hit somebody? Were they trying to recover the foul ball? I don't know. They weren't showing anything. Let's see. Foucher out there. Lindor. He's 3 for 4 tonight. Let's see. Here comes the 0-2 pitch to Frankie Lindor. And at the ball, it was spiked in the dirt. It was a cutter, apparently. Oh, so, a little bit of an update on Justin Crawford, actually. Before, here's the next pitch to Lindor. He strikes out. 2 outs. Trying to argue he fouled it, but he did not. Justin Crawford, this is from Phillies Tailgate. Justin Crawford has found his power stroke. So between March 28th and August 22nd, he hit 4 home runs. And now between August 23rd and August 28th, he's hit 3 home runs. Huh. Even guys that don't hit for power find their power stroke for a little bit. Evens. I think we just got a voicemail at the very last second, if I'm not mistaken. It was from Mist. It was from Mist. Mist decided to leave one. Why not? Let's see what happens in the... Nope, they're still having pitch comm issues. Still having pitch comm issues, so let's get to this call from Mist.
What's up, Amadeo? It's Mist. Hey, man, that was a nuts game. Super fun, obviously. Bunch of crazy shit. Kyle Schwarber hitting 4 home runs is obviously awesome. And it's always great to beat up on the Braves. You know, we kind of forgot that they existed because they basically did stop existing. But, you know, it's just fun to take an opportunity to make them look foolish, kick the shit out of them, and, you know, make up for a little bit of the bad taste that came out of the Mets series. And the Mets seem to be right back to business being awful.
Yeah, Mets just lost.
Terrible defense. giving up hits. It's frustrating. Lots of things still to worry about this team, but hey, tonight we celebrate.
Yeah, tonight we celebrate. I guess we can say that. That's, I guess, the good summary right there. Yep, Mets did lose 7-4 to the Marlins, and the Phillies are back to 5 games ahead of them in the National League East. Just like I told you yesterday, people. It's the Mets that play better against the Phillies. But the Mets are still the Mets. Because they've been playing very bad baseball for a very long time. They go up against the Phillies, they play better against the Phillies. Like I said, it is a 4-game series against Miami, so anything can happen with these two teams. Who are they going up against tomorrow, the Mets? They're going up against Yuri Perez, and Yuri Perez is nasty. So, and then who's pitching for the Mets tomorrow? Jonah Tong making his major league debut, it looks like. So we'll see where that goes. But then the Edward Cabrera as well. He's been very good for a little bit as well. He's going up against Peterson. This could be a weird series for the Mets. It definitely can be. And they play Detroit after this. They play Cincinnati. Like, the Mets still have a tough schedule. They can easily just go back to being cold again and go back to what they were playing like before the series against the Phillies. I said that. And I think the past series told you more about the Phillies than it did about the Mets. Because the Mets just play well against the Phillies. For some reason. They just do. And then I said it, like, easily. The Mets can probably go back to looking bad in the series against the Miami Marlins because they're coming off such of a high of sweeping a rival they're fighting in the division for. They can easily fall into this trap series against Miami. Easily. And then following that, they have Detroit and Cincinnati, a team in Detroit who's one of the better teams in the American League, and a team in Cincinnati that they're fighting in that last wild card spot for. Speaking of the last wild card spot, what's that looking like with Cincinnati? They're 4 games back, so that's a huge series more for Cincinnati than it is anything. So we'll see where that takes them. But yeah, back to a 5-game lead. Above the Mets. So appreciate y'all for tuning in as always. Phillies win. It was a fun game. Kyle Schwarber was very fun, and the Mets lost. So I guess there's a lot of positives tonight. We'll just see where it takes us. My opinion still hasn't fully changed, but tonight was fun, and we can enjoy tonight. That's basically it. So, appreciate y'all. Don't forget to leave a comment in the comment section down below. Don't forget to drop a like. Don't forget to hit that subscribe button. Don't forget to use the code TTPSPORTS, $20 off your first purchase at SeatGeek. Great deal. Don't pass it up. Good win for the Phils. Fun bounce back. Got to see more, though, even though my opinion won't be changed.